This is the TM Master Cup Series, here for race 12 of 14 at the Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama. The Clutch Pole Award goes to the number 2 car driven by Brian Sendak. Sendak led the field to the green with Stuart Sandoval on his outside and Tom Bodarchik behind him. Manny Brown, as you see, is going to go almost 4 wide on the first lap. Matt Smith on the outside thinks better of it and drops back. Coming into this race, we had a tie for the points lead. One of the cars involved in that tie, the number 10 car of Anthony Evans, as you see there on the outside, was making his way backwards even though he started in the top 10. The other car was James Dalton, who had started near the middle of the field. Dalton was stuck behind a couple of other cars and was having difficulty getting around some people. With the recent passing of Steve Marshall, national racing officials rechristened the number 8 car to the number 5 and got Damian Snyder, who drives the 22 car normally, to drive the number 5 for one race. Curtis Darcy will resume driving duties next week. Caution 1 on lap 3. Alexis Rainsford doesn't give James Dalton a whole lot of room coming off of turn 4, and a crash ensues. Lewis Kingston gets away. James Dalton hits the wall. Rainsford hits it harder. Tony Durbin goes sliding through the infield. Ryan Hearn, Cyrus Laterza also involved. Let's have another look. Okay, Rainsford and... Can't really see it from here. Here comes Rainsford. Ooh, into the wall. Twice. 2 heavy hits are going to send the 98 car to the garage, as well as 00 car of James Dalton. Let's have a ride on Tony Durbin's 49 to see how he got away from this one. Oh, he gets a little bit in the back of the 00. Other than that, it doesn't look like the 49 car is going to have much contact at all with anyone else. And it looks like he's going to drive away with it without much of a problem. Matt Taylor led the field to the restart. However, Alan Hodges in the 13 car jumped on the inside and took the lead away. Eric Jackson then got a chance to lead a lap, as did others. Stuart Sandoval and Manny Brown are having a battle going into turn 3. However, that allowed Matt Smith in the 42, followed by Jack Cronin, Kathy Clemens, and Stephanie McGlynn to take over. Matt Smith loses the lead when Kathy Clemens dives on the inside to make a pass. However, Clemens doesn't lead for long because Julia Nosova makes the pass on Clemens. However, Nosova wasn't able to lead a lap because Joseph Howard in the 17 car gets around the 1 car. And then look on the inside. Tony Durbin, who was involved in that last crash, takes over first. With his points rival out of the race, Anthony Evans only needed to focus on finishing the race. However, Evans wasn't comfortable just with that. He wanted to go out and win. Next caution flew on lap 15. Controversy was afire after this one. Tom Wetmore gives Matt Taylor a bump, and Taylor has no choice but to slide back up onto the racetrack, collecting several cars. Palmer Styles, Kathy Clemens, I think Eric Jackson got a piece, Jack Cronin, Joseph Howard involved, Scott Stoidler, among others. Big crash coming in off the tri-oval. Several cars would go to the garage. Let's have another look at it. The 50 gives the 44 a shot coming into the tri-oval. The 44 goes into the grass. No choice, slides back up into the 50. It gets the 34 of Palmer Styles. Stoidler collects several cars. Looks like Stuart Sandoval may have gotten a piece. Johnny Ada looks like he barely got away. Doesn't look like Kathy Clemens or Brian Sendak had any damage in there. Doug Baker, we see on the left, also got some damage in that one. After this wreck, both Matt Taylor and Tom Wetmore would be called to the garage for an interesting chat. Let's have a look off Leonid Roddick's right side camera. This is at half speed. Whoa, close enough to read those tiny stickers on the side. Dale Roswell led in the restart. Tom Levin in the 85 got a slow restart. However, one car that didn't was Danny Savin in the number 91 car. Savin had help from Paul Lyons in the 21 and Todd Wodarchik in the 37 in order to get by Roswell's 19. However, as you're going to see here, Lyons and Wodarchik wanted to make it a 3-wide battle down the backstretch. However, Wodarchik's 37 car prevailed. Here we are looking off the back bumper of Todd Wodarchik's car, Marcus Leonard in the 02 and Ross Peterson's 47. Leonard's 02 car was clearly the fastest car on the racetrack, despite starting in the last row at the start of the race. The only car that seemed to be able to dislodge Wodarchik from the lead was Anthony Evans in the number 10 car, who was conveniently the only car that could keep pace with Leonard's 02. Marcus Leonard quickly came to the front in a very unorthodox manner, passing Joel Rodriguez using a little bit of the yellow line in the process. Marcus Leonard quickly was able to make his way to the front and took the lead away from Ryan Naraki after Anthony Evans cycled back. While he was leading the race, however, the 02 car, which has 4 laps to go, lost his engine, leaving only 6 cars to vie for the lead. Among those 6 cars were Damian Snyder in the 5, Drew Eisenman's 33, Alan Hodges in the 13, Craig Cross in the 12, Johnny Ada in the 94, and Anthony Evans in the number 10 car, who was the fastest among them. With the laps winding down, Evans knocked him off one by one until he came across the number 5 of Damian Snyder. He passed him with 2 to go and he didn't look back. Despite a strong run by Alan Hodges, Anthony Evans would go on to take his first ever TM Master Cup Series victory. However, coming to the line and towards the back of the field, there's a bit of a crash. Scott Bates gets turned around by Kevin Colley, who subsequently gets turned around by Danny Savin. Joel Rodriguez, Kevin Colley, and Scott Bates all lost several positions because of this. Evans scores his first career win. Damian Snyder in a one-off race, a one-off deal with National Racing, gets a second. Alan Hodges in third. Craig Cross, first ever top 5 of his career despite missing several races. Johnny Ada, first top 5 in a while. Drew Eisenman, best career finish. Rachel Rainsford, first top 10 since I believe Daytona. Tony Durbin in 8th. Kathy Clemens, best career finish. And Dale Roswell, despite being 60 years old and the only senior citizen in the field, Roswell is on fire lately. And here's the top 10 in points. Anthony Evans sits above the points charts, 20 above Tony Durbin. Manny Brown is 39 below the leader. He's in third. Scott Bates in fourth is 49 back. Joseph Howard, Ryan Araki, Joel Rodriguez, all 3 of them just 2 points apart. James Dalton, Eric Jackson, and Rachel Rainsford make up the top 10. On an interesting note, Jackson and Rainsford are tied for 9th. And here's the next 10. Leonid Roderick and Alexis Rainsford drop out of the top 10. Palmer Styles down to 13th. Danny Savin stays in 14th. Cyrus Laterza moves up to 15th. Matt Taylor, Lewis Kingston moves up a spot to 17th. Stuart Sandville up 2 to 18. Stephanie McGlynn stays at 19th. And then Matt Smith drops down to 20th. That's all for this week in the TM Master Cup Series. I'll see you next time.